Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is Maintaining Frame number 180. Why is it mostly women celebrating murder? And what happens next? We're going to be reacting. I changed your suggestion a little bit because I think that's the takeaway.
Okay,
We're going to be
all right.
reacting to a video by Schumann Head, which is her, I guess, response or thoughts on the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Mm.
And I mean, and I think it's worth looking at. So I don't know. You haven't seen it, right, Allison?
No, I have not seen it, so I have, don't spoiler the ultimate conclusion. But yeah, so this has been quite the interesting. Interesting is the wrong word. Sorry.
What?
A tragic, enlightening event.
Yeah.
Just to see the sheer malfeasance on a particular group. I don't even want to say aside because I think that they just are raw human ugliness at this point. So yeah, let's.
Why do you want to
get
say aside, Allison?
Because what the sides are what
You might
good
alienate
versus
them.
evil. I don't give
Do we
a
not
fuck
want to
about
alienate
alienating.
the bloodthirsty murderer demons that vote? We don't want to alienate them. We might offend them.
I don't think that's my point here.
Okay.
Do you think that human evil is a side?
Yeah, it's the side of evil. I do. Yes.
Okay,
I do.
all right, fine.
Yeah.
Just the side of descending into the worst impulses that human beings have. How's that?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So
Anyway,
anyway,
so if you want to send us a comment with a tip, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip at any time throughout the show. We are doing our monthly fundraiser at feedthebadger.com/support. So if you want to help us out there, you want to continue the conversation, you want us to continue this conversation, then please help us out. And I think that's it for now. Thank you to everybody who joined us and supported us for our meetup in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. That went pretty well. I think it was
it was I'd say it was a success.
Yeah, it's success. Twice the size of what it was
meetup last
before.
year.
Yeah, the meetup last year, and we also had a venue and some events, and then we went off into the Rockies. So if you're on our Discord, you can see some photos of that. And you're also a patron because paywall, just so we don't invite bad actors. But anyway, feedthebadger.com/justthetip to send a message and a tip, and feedthebadger.com/support if you want to support the show. Okay, let's get into it.
All right, so I have some time codes here. Let's play her intro because I think the setup is important as usual, and she is good at doing the setup. So
On September 10th, Charlie Kirk was giving a talk at Utah Valley University, and out of nowhere he was shot dead, live, in front of a bunch of college kids, in front of his wife and his 2 children. And I don't think the country is ever going to be the same. Not only because of this horrific tragedy, but because of everything that followed. The dark, disturbing realization that we may not be on the same page as our coworkers, classmates, friends, neighbors, doctors, when it comes to the issue of murder. I was crashing out on Twitter a few days ago, just stream of consciousness posting about it, with run-on sentences and everything. 4 days later, I have a clearer head, but I still feel the exact same way. So we are going to talk about what happened, we're going to talk about the aftermath, and then we're going to get a little personal, because frankly, I don't see the country the same anymore, and I know a lot of you feel the exact same way, so we're going to talk about it after we talk about everything else.
all right. So you can already tell the tone is not her normal tone.
No.
I did read her posts on X, and I totally get it. So anyway, yeah, I'm just letting you guys know. Let me just make sure that I got all of this set up so that we'll get the appropriate.
Yeah.
So when super chats come through and all that, it'll be fine. What were you gonna say?
Well, what I was gonna say is that, so just to clarify my thoughts on this, there is a side that uses speech to identify enemies, and a side that continues to regard speech as a means of communicating different concepts. But in order to have a discourse, you need sides to that discourse. So it's like, how do you say that it's wrong to consider disagreeing with you a capital offense, and that's actually evil, and allow for that a discourse needs to have two sides? That makes sense. So that's why I say I think that this is not a side in the discourse. This is a desire to destroy human communication entirely, to make it a form of dominance. In other words, you have one opinion, and that's their opinion and no other. That's the destruction of discourse. But again, a discourse needs to have a variety of opinions to occur. So how would you describe that, Brian? How would you explain the difference?
Remember Calgary Expo, Allison? Why did you get thrown out?
Because I wanted to have a conversation
with people who did not have any interest in having a conversation with you.
Yes.
And so they threw you out.
Yes.
So they've been censoring, they've been banning, they've been excluding, and some people, despite all that, managed to push through. And so they take it further. They tried canceling. They tried getting people fired from their jobs. They tried getting people's reputations destroyed so they would not be able to associate with people in their community. And then some people pushed through, and then they killed them. And I'm not being hyperbolic. That is the nature of what they do. So
Yes.
The people who kicked you out of the expo are the same people who killed Charlie Kirk in terms of their ultimate, like at the baseline of their belief system. And you can say that's like not a side, but it is a side because there's like a lot of people that are okay with this,
okay, but,
even if they don't want to pull the trigger themselves. And you could say that on the side of people who want to have discourse, there are different people who have different opinions, but that's all fine. We can wrestle with that. But right now we have people who just want you to die or shut up and disappear forever.
Yes,
which is basically the same thing.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm just saying that I think that calling that a side is giving it legitimacy. It's not a side.
Well,
it's
you
just,
could, I guess you could say that.
Is theft a side? Like, is murder a side?
I get that, but ultimately they do believe in theft because they're statists, and that's what statists do when their parents are challenged. But look, all I'm saying is that I guess we're just trying to figure out what the best way to view this paradigm is. And I see it as people who are willing to talk and people who don't want to talk. And those are sides.
Don't want to talk. They want to use words to dominate. Right?
Yeah, but if their words don't dominate, then what do they do?
There is no side and there's discourse. There is only them and their ability to dominate through canceling, through evictions, through firing, through murder. It's the desire to stop people thinking things that they don't accept. Right? And it's like that is a criminal. It's like a criminal behavior, and it's a descent into human madness. And I mean, I saw that when I remember my video I did on the Nazis in Boston.
Yeah.
Like they did not want them. They didn't even show the people they were calling Nazis because then it would have been patently obvious that what they were doing was silencing a bunch of people who just had interests in free speech and maybe anarcho-capitalism or whatever, and weed, and they silenced them because they did not want people to know that they were lying about them. And it's like I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm just struggling with something that is impossible to explain at the moment. So let's just continue.
All right. Well, yeah, let's jump ahead to we'll play a little bit more of this.
Charlie Kirk was not a healthcare CEO. He was not a powerful politician. And let me be 100% clear, I'm not saying this to say that it's okay when those people are murdered. My point is that those are positions of power that most people cannot relate to. Like, the average person is just so far removed from that world.
Is that echo?
Are you getting an echo?
Yeah, I'm getting a bit of an echo. Is that
Oh, that's weird.
original? Yeah, is that original to her video, or is it just me?
Let me here, I'll put on my headphones. It normally wouldn't be an issue, but
Yeah.
and for the record, when she says this is not some CEO,
Yeah,
I know she's making a reference to the United Healthcare guy, and I know that she does say, look, I'm not saying that that makes it okay, but you see, because we accepted that when it happened, that means we accept this. So, you know, if you're one of those people that says Luigi was a hero, guess what? You implicitly supported the assassination of Charlie Kirk because you said assassination is okay sometimes. Fight me, because I'm looking at the live chat and I know people are going to be in there bitching about something. So I'm going to let you know that shit's not flying today. I'm watching. Anyway, because yes, when you said it's okay for Luigi to kill the United Healthcare guy, you basically said it's okay to do this as long as it's the people that I think should be killed. Guess what? You opened the floodgates for anyone to be targets.
Charlie is hitting differently because, like I said on Twitter, he was just a fucking guy. He was a fucking podcaster. He was a guy who talked about politics. He was a guy who had conservative beliefs. Not everyone knows a billionaire CEO or a powerful politician, but they do know somebody with conservative beliefs. They know somebody who holds some or many of Charlie Kirk's opinions. Because despite what people in their little bubble believe, his core ideology and what he believed is the same shit like your conservative boomer uncle on Facebook posts. You can only disagree with this if you are unfamiliar with Charlie Kirk, or you are unfamiliar with the many different branches and different ideologies of the right wing. Now, don't get me wrong, Charlie Kirk had many.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it there for a second. Because she was doing the whole like, you know, I don't agree with him on everything thing. I don't care. But I just want to say that this could easily have been a men's rights activist. Easily. And I think like we have had, you know, bomb threats called on ICMIs. We have had activists call the hotel and say that there are white supremacists and Klansmen and Nazis, you know, attending your thing. Why would they do that if they weren't prepared for us to possibly get killed? Not just like kicked off the premises or banned, but if it like escalated in any way, if there was a misunderstanding or escalation, we could be gone. So she can say this is a conservative thing. And I know people will in the chat will be like, well, they're not us. We're not those filthy, filthy, gross conservatives. You know, it doesn't matter, guys. Stop it. Okay. You're all right wing, period. You are. You are because you disagree with murdering your opponents.
Well, we're right wing because we agree we agree with discourse, regardless of where you stand, what your position is. It doesn't even matter at this point.
No,
if you agree in discourse.
But this isn't a new thing. That's why I'm pointing out old experiences. She was like, oh my God, war has changed. No, this has been real, like a thing since Cain and Abel. This is ancient behavior that never has gone away. It's always been under the surface of everybody, but just some people were tempted by it and acted on it, and some were not. And so to say this is like, you know, a new thing that just started happening because my internet is just false. It's not new. It's old. Anyway.
Yep. All right, let's keep going.
All right.
Bad takes over the years. Like, for example, the two most popular quotes I see people posting.
I'm going to jump ahead. This is getting into the specifics. But let's go.
I think it really does come down to this. It's on one side, you have people who do not want to hear any contrary opinions at all. And then the other side is people who want to have discourse. And it doesn't matter what the content of your discourse is. If you allow that other people who disagree with you are human beings that deserve to live, then you are one of the bad people.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to, so there's like a bunch of stuff about like why, because she was trying to figure out like why, whether or not he was, you know, because they were claiming the shooter was right wing, and it's all bullshit, obviously. But she figures that out like as she's talking about it. But anyway, let's jump ahead to what I think is the most important thing, more important than the assassination, which is very important. Don't get me wrong, but the reaction to it.
It ultimately doesn't matter. One person may have pulled the trigger, but then we saw the reaction of many.
We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Hey, ooh, ah.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
Yo, they got Charlie Kirk, bro. I've never been happier.
Never believe the reason I'm smiling. And it has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. Nothing to do with...
I would say pour one out for Kirky boy, but I don't waste good beer on little bitches.
Rest in peace, bozo!
Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah.
I do not, and I will not, ever feel bad when bad people get what the fuck they deserve.
I just heard that someone shot Charlie Kirk? Thoughts and prayers.
Oh no, someone shot Charlie Kirk. Look, I don't know who needs to hear this today, but that's how you pick up a woman.
Homie dead. Fuck your homie dead. Fuck your homie dead. He got shot in the head.
We got Charlie in the neck. We got Charlie in the neck.
I heard someone got shot today. I had a tummy ache this morning. Stay alive out there.
The sympathy for Charlie Kirk is weird. You don't have to like violence, but I'm confused as to how you thought the revolution was going to be magically bloodless.
I've been saying we need to bring back political assassinations. I don't feel bad, and I don't think that everyone deserves the right to free speech. I think some people should be afraid to express their opinion in public.
I didn't like what he said, and I didn't like his opinions, and I don't really give a shit that he's dead.
The best part of this whole goddamn thing is that he is not martyr material, so his death will mean nothing. It will activate no one. It will impact few. It's just great.
There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
I saw the video before they even put out the confirmation. There was no chance that he made it through that. This wasn't the one we were hoping for, but a welcome surprise nonetheless.
I'm surprised that y'all didn't get rid of him sooner. And I'm surprised that you guys aren't getting rid of more people. Like, don't stop with him. Don't let him be the end dog. Get rid of them all. His wife deserves to go too. Y'all keep on talking about his wife and kids. They need to go too because they're carrying on that mentality and that lineage. Like, get rid of the whole family. I'm so sorry. Why did you guys stop with him?
There were thousands of videos.
Okay. These people deserve to live in the squalor and violence of a society with no advanced virtuous principles. The society that they are going to construct. That's what I think. Is that a cruel thing to say? Is that inciting violence?
Yes.
We don't deserve to be dragged in with them, though. That's the problem. Okay, let's hear what Shu has to say. I feel like this might be just the breaking point for Shu. But maybe I'm wrong. I say that out of ignorance.
Well, I don't know what you mean by breaking point, I guess, but okay, let's see.
People posting with their full names and faces, with hundreds and thousands of likes. Thousands of tweets celebrating it, with 500,000 likes. And it's important to remember that all of those likes are a real person. Millions of people in this country apparently believe the acceptable response to speech they don't like is murder. This wasn't just a bunch of fringe blue hair SJWs or whatever. They were teachers, professors, doctors, HR workers, healthcare workers, nurses, pediatricians, people who work with kids, people's classmates, roommates. They are teachers showing our children the gory, horrifying video of Charlie's murder on repeat.
So yeah, there was a teacher who forced her 10-year-old classroom to watch his murder video over and over again. So I'm just reading the headline, and I knew about that story. So I mean, look, I'm not that surprised. I don't know why Shu is, but I'm not. So I don't know what that says about me. But when I learned that there were this many people celebrating his death, I wasn't really surprised.
And the media is going forward with smearing him and misrepresenting what he said. I know one particular quote that I saw was this quote on empathy, and saying he said basically that empathy was a meaningless buzzword, but then he went on to say that sympathy is what matters because you cannot empathize with necessarily the other things that people go through because you are not them, but you can sympathize with their feelings about it, or their experience of, sadness or tragedy. So it was nothing like the media proposed. And then another one that I've heard excusing his death is him saying that guns, the existence of freedom and also the existence of the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, means that the cost of that is that there will be people who die. Honestly, I would have said that there's more likely to be people who die if there isn't freedom of speech in particular and the Second Amendment. But he went with they're more likely that people will die in order to have freedom. The freedom means that some people will die as a result of it. And there are people saying, well, that means that him being killed is justified. It's just desserts for his statement. Well, he's basically saying that everybody in a free society, everybody runs risks. Just like if you are allowed to have a car, there will be accidents that kill people. That doesn't justify you running someone over with your car. If they say, well, we all have cars, that means that we're going to have to accept a certain amount of accidents. You don't get to run him over, nor is it justified to run that person over. It's just the cost. And honestly, I would say it's a greater cost. And ultimately, it wasn't freedom or freedom of speech that killed Charlie Kirk. It was the absence. It was people who believe in the absence of that freedom.
Well, plus he was on a college campus. It was a gun-free zone, so
yeah.
So, it's kind of stupid.
And
again, like people who think that safety is guaranteed, that they're just not serious people. Like there is no place where safety is guaranteed. There's no such thing. You have to live with some risk. I do understand what you're saying. Yeah. You always have to live with some risk. So, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, I also heard, and I don't think she didn't bring it up, but I thought it was weird because a very common one that feminists brought up was that I guess Charlie Kirk was on one of those Jubilee surrounded videos, and he was like the guy being surrounded by a bunch of young, I guess, activists. And one woman, they were talking about abortion because he was pro-life, very staunchly pro-life. And of course, when you're dealing with pro-choice people, they always give you the most like absurd example or something that you have to refute. So like, what if your daughter was raped and got pregnant? Would you make her carry it to term? This like kind of absurd thing that is very unlikely, especially less likely because he is a father with his children. But like, you have to assume that dads don't actually protect their kids to think that something like that could happen to begin with. And he just said, well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that it's not a life. So like, it doesn't change anything. That was his opinion on it. And then of course, feminists ran with it and said, oh, Charlie Kirk wants people to get raped and then force them to carry their babies to term, which of course is like the most capital offense you could ever do. And that's why I'm surprised that more people didn't like see that, because that was like one of the primary ways to sort of like demonize him, was to say, look, he wants his daughter to get raped and carry the baby to term. Right. It wasn't even just about the gun control thing, which of course whenever a leftist like does a mass shooting, they always go to guns because they don't want to talk about anything else. But like it was really, I think the abortion thing was like the big one.
Mm.
So
It's something to do.
anyway,
I don't actually know his opinions on trans individuals, so I can't
he
comment.
thinks that they need mental health services more than transitioning. But he was like he was, I will say, like, I didn't watch him a lot, but he seemed to be someone whose opinions evolved. So that means they could evolve even more. Because the last time I saw him on Tucker Carlson, and like I said, I don't watch Charlie Kirk much, but I do watch Tucker Carlson's show because he did. I think that he deserves the benefit of the doubt because he did do a men's month when he was with Fox, and then he brought Dr. Warren Farrell on, and I thought that was good. And so I watch him, and he had Charlie Kirk on, and I think their conversation was like 2.5 hours, and a good 75% of the conversation was about men. And it wasn't because I know people are going to be like, he was saying you should fucking suck it up and get married. No, he acknowledged the problems with divorce. He acknowledged the problems with fatherlessness. He saw that the problems with the economy, how men are being disserviced by the education system, how they're not able to afford a home, how they're having trouble finding partners, how they're checking out. He acknowledged all of that. So, and I mean, I don't know where that could have gone because he was murdered after that. But I did see that he was heading in that direction. And I was, let's say, I was encouraged by that. I was like, okay, this is good. Like, it's going to take, he was really young. He was 31 when he was assassinated. But so he had a lot of growing to do still, if you think about it. And, but unfortunately, yeah, I mean, I thought he was on the right track. So
yeah.
Anyway.
And I mean, honestly, Shu said that there are things that she disagreed with Charlie Kirk. And I think there probably would be things that I would disagree with and even Brian would disagree with in terms of focus and emphasis, because, we focus on men's issues. Well, maybe you do agree with everything that Charlie Kirk says.
I don't know everything that Charlie Kirk believes, but I don't think it's relevant.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what she means, though. It's not relevant. It's not relevant.
I don't think it's relevant. But anyway, so yeah, let's keep going.
On repeat. The hippy dippy in this house we believe shitlib mask was ripped off, and underneath was nothing but psychopathic bloodlust. I have seen people on the right celebrate the death of people they disagree with. I've seen it. I remember Heather Heyer in 2017. But I also remember the whole internet, left and right, coming together to disavow and mock the few dozen people from Stormfront who were celebrating her death. This is different. It's never been like
I don't even remember that. What the heck?
Well, it was very marginal. So like the Heather Heyer thing happened with the Charlottesville event or whatever it was when the Unite the Right rally came, and they were protesting the statues being torn down. And some Wignats went there and started agitating, but like that's not a new thing because that's been going on for decades and decades. In fact, I think that we used to have more open discourse back in the day because I remember like Phil Donahue bringing the KKK on or something. I mean, I thought it was kind of theater anyways. Like, I don't know that any of that was real, but the point is we knew that stuff existed. And in general, yes, like they're a joke. Like people, normal people are not really fans. So when she said, they disavowed them, she thinks that there's been like this shift, but I don't think that's right. I think that in general, people are much more wary of sort of, what they would call like right-wing extremism than left-wing extremism. I mean, if you look at the what's been the discussion around this as like when they were trying to say, oh, well, let's not forget like the right is way more dangerous than the left is. And then they bring out these charts and it's all shit from the SPLC and the ADL who basically only count, they don't even count like, things like Antifa assassinations, which happened. I remember that guy that was killed in Portland during the BLM riots, the Black Lives Matter riots, the Weather Underground, the what is it? The assassination attempts on Trump were not called hate crimes or politically motivated violence. So it goes on. So when the ADL is literally not counting stuff, and then they put out a chart saying, "Look at all this right wing violence." And also the ADL will call like college protests against Israel, like during the Israel-Palestine thing, they'll call that right wing, even though those are leftists, you know, like they are, in fact, and they would say so because the reasoning behind why they oppose Israel has nothing to do with actually what's happening. It has to do with Israel's relationship with the United States. And the United States is the oppressor, the ultimate oppressor. So that's their reasoning is completely different from people who have, like Dave Smith or whatever, that have, like, you know, rational reasons to criticize the government of Israel. But the ADL would just call it all right wing, because, and they call libertarians right wing, they call Catholics right wing, they call Paul Elam right wing, far right, extremist, whatever. So if that's their metric for measuring extremism, it's no wonder that the left is never called extremist. And anyone that's even like libertarian, like those Nazis in Boston, are just going to be extremist right wingers. And by the way, they hate libertarians too. That's just true. There's no getting out of that. ANCAP, guess what? You're a Nazi. It doesn't matter.
They also hate anybody on the left who's willing to talk to anybody. Like, honestly, they hate discourse, period. They hate the idea of people communicating peacefully, different points of view, different ways of approaching problems, different understandings of history or whatever, or different analyses of history. They hate human discourse. They just, and they use the term far right as a way to silence it.
Yeah, like misogyny.
Yeah, like misogyny. Yes, exactly. They use misogyny. They use far right. They use all these buzzwords as a way to silence people. And like I said, they use speech to identify enemies and control people. So speech for them is a means to control, not to disseminate ideas. This is this has to be some fucked up throwback to some prehistoric conception of words, like, and it's to call, like, the reason why I hesitate to call it a side is because it is the absence of sides. Just like evil is the absence of good, it is the absence of the ability to recognize another side. I don't know what the hell to call it. It's just a void. It's like Tolkien's spider demon who eats everything and leaves nothing but a void. So they just want to eat everything and leave silence. And it's like,
yeah, it's like A Quiet Place. You ever see that movie, A Quiet Place, with the aliens that can hear everything and they kill whatever's there? Like they literally find out that the aliens come from a world where there is no sound. Okay, but anyway, let's keep going.
Never been this brazen. Normal people have to log into like an alternate Twitter account where they can post their more unorthodox opinions. And these people are out here full face, full name, like hell yeah, murder. What? The smug, unearned confidence these people have to be openly sociopathic with their full name and face because they live under the pathetic delusion of being on the right side of history needs to end. They will blame you for your death because words are violence. Words are violence, so them killing you is just self-defense. That's why they're using Kyle Rittenhouse as some kind of gotcha. Oh, if you...
All right, I'm going to move up to something else. Yes. You got it. Words are violence. We've been hearing that since we started doing the men's issues thing.
And violence is political discourse.
And violence is, yes, violence is just freedom of speech. For them, I mean. Okay, so Shu goes into a thing where she tries to explain like why you know, like that, how they define Nazi. I'm going to skip that because we know that it's whatever makes them uncomfortable. Okay.
Being anti-death.
Charlie Kirk was a fucking Nazi. He was a fucking Nazi. And you know what kind of Nazi is the best Nazi? A dead.
By the way, do you notice anything about all these videos that they share almost completely in common? Shu's going to mention it.
I am a better person than you for celebrating the death of a Nazi. And actually, it's pretty weird that you're not, and simultaneously asking people to have empathy for the Nazi.
Nazis have children and families, right? But Nazis also get shot in the neck.
They don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can kill you.
That's
No,
Blair White.
and they call you and they kill you and then they call you a Nazi.
Yeah,
and nobody's
after they
scared
killed you.
shitless. I mean, no, actually, I know everybody is scared shitless of this. Even the people who presumptively share the same viewpoints as these psychos. And honestly, I think that they chose this particular viewpoint and this particular philosophy for their incursion into the human realm, their demonic incursion into the human realm, because nobody likes misogyny, nobody likes racism, nobody likes homophobia, nobody likes unfair bias towards people. And as a society, we are built on the idea that people should be judged based on individual merit. So that's what they took over. And they used it because those virtues are our virtues. Does that make sense, or am I talking out my ass?
No, that makes sense. But yeah.
Yeah, okay. But I don't even think they have those virtues. Like, okay, I'm going to go back into feminism because that's the thing that I've been hammering at for like 25 years now.
Well, this comes from feminism.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, or one comes before the other, but they're definitely like interlinked. Like, none of these people that were cheering his death, if you asked them if they were feminists, none of them would say no.
Yeah.
So,
but I was talking with Grok, and we were examining how feminism approaches domestic violence. And there is now a new intervention called ACTV, which results in 50% less recidivism among only male perpetrators because nobody recognizes female perpetrators. But feminists, because they're dominant, they push the intervention that supports their ideology, which is Duluth, which has never been shown to have any benefit on recidivism. So in other words, feminists put pushing their ideology over their stated goal of helping women. They continue to want to push their ideology rather than reduce the rate at which women are victimized by domestic violence. And it's just like, at that point, all that matters is that your ideology is a tool of control. Right? All that matters is you can say, well, I am the one who cares about women. Therefore, I'm the one who should control the discourse. I'm the one who should say what's hate speech, what's allowed. I'm the one who should be able to construct a moral hierarchy with you at the bottom. And that can include political violence against you as justified. And that's all it is. They just use people's desire to help women to take away their power. Like I said, they turn virtue into extortion. And that's what feminists do. And that's what these other people do. They don't use these terms because they give a flying fuck about any single minority group or women. Right. And I apologize for going into caring about women more than men. That's not what I'm about. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy. They don't give a flying fuck about women. They don't give a flying fuck about minorities. They don't give a flying fuck about trans or homosexuals. They don't give a flying fuck. What they care about is that these buttons, we all have these buttons that they can push to make us submit to them. That's what they care about. That we respond to these terms. That we don't want to be racist, that we don't want to be homophobic, that we don't want to be sexist. And they push those buttons in order to control us. They don't have those virtues. We have those virtues. And regardless if you question all of this stuff, all of us here believe that people should be judged on their merit. All of us here believe that people should be able to speak. Right? Mm-hmm. This is the basis of being in this, this arena. Okay. Therefore, we don't want to feel like we aren't judging people based on their merit. We don't want to feel like we're silencing others. So they use those virtues that are our virtues against us to make us submit. And that's what I'm trying to explain. When I say they don't have a side, all they have is a desire for power. All they have is a desire to silence people. All they have is this primitive hatred of what they don't control. Like they're basically just a bunch of freaking hominids kicking another hominid to death because it brought them fire. It brought fire into the community. And they're like, whoa, what's this? This we don't control. We must destroy. That's all it is. And they use our virtues against us. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll step off my soapbox.
All right.
Now, I'm going to talk about my personal feelings of the situation because I know a lot of you can relate. I know a lot of you have been feeling the exact same way. So I will try and put it into words for you. I have friends who were friends with Charlie Kirk, but I didn't personally know him. We follow each other on Twitter. I've been to the TPUSA Amerifest in 2021. I actually went there planning to make a video making fun of it, but I had so much fun and met so many friends that I'm still friends with to this day. So that video never happened. I disagreed with—
Oh, well, it didn't work. So you went over there with preconceptions, and then you found out those were human beings, and then you got along with them. Interesting. But I'm glad you didn't make that video, Shu. I appreciate that you went in there with the willingness
to change your mind.
learn something. Well, learn something, because one of the reasons why we're in this situation that we find ourselves in, and again, this is not a new situation. This has been going on for a very long time. I think she was just discovering it for herself because, like most women, she's mostly shielded from this stuff. There were two things that people just cannot say that has put us here. One is, I don't know, and the other one is, I was wrong. And because people cannot do that, and instead they just, what is the saying? SJWs always double down. They just double down, double down, double down. Or they turn a blind eye to the things that cause cognitive dissonance. And that's what I think. She was in a lot of pain in this video. It's visible. If you can look at her face, you can tell that she's in pain. I think part of that is the cognitive dissonance settling in that she is experiencing because she is seeing like the people around her that she travels in, exposing themselves. But anyway,
well,
go ahead.
Also, this manipulation, because, like I said, this is maybe some of the people who are now pushing this idea of violence as political speech came to this with the best intentions, but they've become so fucking distorted. It's like that horror manga. I forget who created it, but there's these holes that are the exact shape of people, and then they go in them, and then the
It sounds like some Junji Ito shit.
Yeah, the hole is their exact shape, but it gradually, as they shuffle downward through the mountain, because the hole is slanted downward, they start to distort into these strange cracked shapes. So eventually they'll die, and then they come out the other end, and they're just like this broken sack of. So maybe some of these people started with the best of intentions, and they slowly got corrupted by this attitude of control and a threat narrative. I'm just going to say it, a threat narrative against the people that disagree with them, so that they ended up coming out the other side completely inhuman. And but for the most part, I think a lot of the people who are using these virtues, they are using them as tools of control. And we have this in us. You see throughout all of human history, there have been points where we've been taken with the madness of I'll call it a threat narrative. Like Nazi Germany was a threat narrative empowered by mass media, period. Like that, it came from the media. It came from desperation, which ended up being distorted into hatred and an overwhelming threat narrative, which no doubt people couldn't speak out against. Right? Because anybody questioning it would have destroyed the soap bubble reality that they existed within. It's why they want to silence people. But they were distorted by a threat narrative. And these individuals are also distorted by a threat narrative. Nobody that they are saying is on the right is really a horrible, there are horrible people, but not because they believe the things that Charlie Kirk believed, or Jordan Peterson, or Brian, or myself, or the hippies in the Church of Weed and the gazebo being called Nazis by the mass media in Boston and having tens of thousands of people descend on them. Like that, none of these people are evil because of the things that they believe. right? And I don't think that people are well, I guess if you believe that everybody who disagrees with you is evil, you might want to stop and think if you're being possessed by a threat narrative. But I don't think these people are Nazis, and I don't think they're evil just because they disagree. Even if they disagree with me. Right? If you disagree with me on something and it isn't like basically saying a group of people is criminal that isn't actually criminal, like you can say the mafia is criminal, you could say terrorist organizations are criminal, but things like saying men are criminal, right? That is a threat narrative. And I'm going to disagree with it. I'm maybe not going to silence you, but I'm definitely going to use logic and reason to dispose of your threat narrative. Anyway, and the problem with threat narratives is they don't survive the light of day. So they need to be protected by people who silence any disagreement. All right? And okay, I'm going to step off my soapbox cuz I think that I'm repeating myself, so
It's okay. All right. So I'm just looking at the chat.
Don't stop. My cat is getting feisty because she sees that
Okay.
I have the stresses. Nope.
Yeah.
Don't claw.
So she was sharing like a disagreement she had with Charlie Kirk on X. I want to ask you guys this because I think that she thinks that this is like an obvious response. And I don't think it's this simple. So Charlie Kirk said Republicans should not support a bill that pays people not to work. And then Shu says, have you seen the current unemployment in this country, Charles? Now, that's her way of just shooting him down. But I'm sorry, but I think Charlie Kirk has a point. And I don't think the solution is government pay people, because that's what Shu is for. She's still for that, by the way. And I'll tell you why it's stupid, because only women are going to get that money and only men are going to have that money taken from them, because that's how it always has been. And even men who could benefit from it are most likely not going to want to, because they're going to feel useless and they don't want that. So what I think, if you asked him, if he was alive, to ask him this question, I would say, well, and he's even talked about it already, because he's talked at length about the problems with, men finding, making decent money, being able to afford a home, because he knows that if men can't do those things, then they can't attract a woman. And I mean, of course, we could bring back dowry, and that's a whole other conversation. But the point is, he was at least looking at the world as it was and saying, the welfare and government programs are not the solution to this problem. And I guess it's a little bit of a nitpick, but I'm just saying, see, this is where Shu doesn't understand that you don't just say, oh, we should just there should be gibs, because like the people who are calling for that have killed him or that wanted him dead are the people who stood to lose Gibbs. They become murderous because they know that this guy is calling for a reduction in those things at the end of the day. And worse than that, he was reaching people, especially young people, in particular young men. And he was he moved he moved men that were otherwise not involved in the political process into it. And part of it was because they then started to understand how consequential things were for them as men. So he was reaching Zoomer men, and they were starting to move to his positions, and they were starting to recognize that their money was being taken from them and being given to women in on the whole. I don't think he would say that, but that is what's happening. And she was like, well, I think that there should be more Gibbs. But she's, again, I'm not shitting on her. I'm just saying that she obviously doesn't realize that's how the system works. And making it more of that is just going to do that more. And when women who are benefiting from those systems, in fact, encouraged to take advantage of them, and you could look at guys like Thomas Sowell and Milton Friedman, who have talked about this for decades, well, when they see that their meal ticket is threatened, then guess what? They're going to be okay with somebody somewhere doing something about it, probably a man, which is what happened.
Okay, well, I would say that there are some serious problems in the workforce right now. And I'm not sure if we can really do the bootstrapping, because everything has become ossified and but it's because of government intervention in the economy, and there are no easy solutions right now. And I'm not sure what is going to happen, but we can't, like, it's not, we can't continue like this. We can't, like, I don't think the US can continue increasing the debt, and other Western countries can't as well. So it's an intractable problem, but I can actually see, I'm going to do my both sides. I can see both sides. I can see the issues that she was bringing up, and also that you can't, like, the only thing that's going to do is add fuel to the fire. Right.
Charlie was bringing. He wasn't ignorant of those things, though, Allison. He knew that the bootstrapping thing wasn't enough, because he talked about it on Tucker's thing, and that didn't even really. Even Tucker was like acknowledging that reality, that that wasn't the issue. But the thing is, I think that Charlie was open to discussing solutions outside of the box that did not involve more government.
Yeah.
Because he knew that was the problem, or at least a big part of the problem. And
well, I mean, honestly, if you look at, okay, I'm gonna take you in a big digression, but if you see society and the cooperative systems of society is actually an emergent property of men's biology, then what we've been doing is basically deconstructing all of that for the last 70 years, 100 years, 120, 150 years. We've been deconstructing it. We've been deconstructing the very thing that men produce that allows everyone to survive on this planet. And now we're on the end of that deconstruction, and everything's going to shit. Well, I mean, what do you expect? Like, what do you expect? And we deconstructed it because we were convinced that by feminism, that the unique value proposition that men give the world is actually something that they steal from women.
Yeah.
And we just put in place all the mechanisms and levers to start deconstructing it, because we're convinced that they steal it from women. It's like all of the things that we enjoy were built by men. And they weren't built by men because they didn't allow women to build them. Because if women had built them, women would have built them. And they would have been built by women, because they didn't exist before men built them. So how could men exclude women from building something that didn't exist before men built it? And that are we ready for that dialogue? Are we ready for recognizing that these cooperative systems, these things called civilizations, are built by men?
Yeah, that's where it starts. Allison, for some reason, your audio is like lagging a little bit behind the video. I don't know.
I can try restarting. I suspect void cat intervention, or I don't know. And ironically, even feminists don't disagree with what I'm saying, because their only solution is to create a guilt narrative in order to convince men to give women the benefits of civilization. And yet, I don't know if you've noticed, but men sort of build civilization to benefit women and their family. So we don't even need feminism. Like, why do we need the middleman? Anyway, I'm going to try to figure out what's wrong with my sound. I might have to quit and come back in. Please stop.
Yeah, I guess just try to leave and come back really quick. I'll look at, so you guys send some super chows in and super chats so I can get your thoughts on this. I think this is like really crucial to talk about, and I know that everyone's like, the whole internet is on fire with this conversation, but I think that a lot of them are missing something crucial. Well, a few things. One, this isn't new. This is very old. So it's not like, oh my God, what happened? Because like I've been talking about this for a long time. We have been talking about this for a long time, that this kind of, well, I mean, personally, I think it's baked into the cake. Like if you're someone who believes that the government should be taking care of you, and that you believe that it should be subsidizing, like, basically your lifestyle, your delusions, your choices, basically act as a safety net no matter when you fail. And
Oh, is
Oh,
that
and it worked. Yeah, you came back fine.
okay?
Um,
Sorry about that. I also kicked Mia, the void cat, out. She can go chill with Mike for now.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, anyway, so let's get back to the video.
Side of history needs to end. They will blame you for your death because words are violence. Words are violence, so them killing you is just self-defense. That's why they are using Kyle Rittenhouse as some kind of gotcha. Oh, if you don't condone political violence, why do you support Kyle Rittenhouse? They fundamentally don't see the difference between killing someone over speech and killing someone over self-defense because these are the same things to them. Also, I'm going to be the one to point it out because of course I am. I saw nobody else do it. Why are most of them women? Most of the people celebrating are women. Like, it's a good, like, 80-20 ratio all over the internet. What is going on, ladies? Basically, the
And you got to know that the 20 that's male, they're doing it because
They're simping.
they want to get that. They want to get
It's
that
the woman
that
simp
fuchsia
ratio.
coochie. They wanna
80-20,
get-
yes. The woman simp, the woman male feminist / simp ratio is 80-20.
Yeah, this is okay. I'm glad she noticed that because I did notice that myself. And I honestly, it's because women create the preconditions for violence. I'm just going to put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones who ululate the returning warriors. In more and in tribalistic societies, they're the ones who usually carry out the torture on enemy combatants and enemy captured enemy. You know that this and they're the ones who put out the white feathers. I mean, not all women. There's certain women who have no interest in promoting war and want to campaign against it, but war is an emergent property of treating men as expendable, as treating men's lives as expendable in the service of all kinds of things. And it's not just war. They are also expendable in the service of industry and developing infrastructure. I mean, there's a certain amount of men who died creating the Hoover Dam. Usually there's a certain amount of men in the past who died with every skyscraper, with every mile of railroad, with the tunnel under the Thames. You know, there are men who die for our infrastructure, and we are okay with it because we believe that men's lives are expendable in the service of building things that benefit everybody. Remember I talked about how that civilization is an emergent property of men? That's probably one of the reasons why. Because men will see themselves as expendable in the service of providing for their families and building these things that provide for everyone, right? And war is it's just the stupidest manifestation of that. Because in war, we see men's lives as expendable for solving intractable political conflicts. So our politicians fuck up and then they're like, well, let's go to war. Let's stack up some bodies and whoever stacks up the higher amount of dead men wins. Right? And then the political issue is solved. It's just because we think that men are expendable in service of solving political issues. That's it. And who teaches us all that men are expendable? Right? Is it men? Do you think if men were responsible for this, they might stop that? I don't know. Maybe they would continue it. Maybe this is just a biological thing. Or do women have a role to play in raising their sons to regard themselves as expendable by saying things, well, if little Lucy hits you, you just got to swallow it, Timmy, because your feelings are expendable. Okay. Just laying it out there, just a thought.
It's fine. I was just gonna say again, just to show that this isn't a new thing. We have done lots of reactions to women calling for violence and assassinations on TikTok and YouTube and everywhere else for anybody that they don't like. And this goes way back. Like I remember when the Black Lives Matter stuff was started by women, and they used Floyd as their let's say proxy to encourage people to like loot and burn and steal and murder, because people were murdered and people were attempted there to kill Kyle Rittenhouse, and women motivated that. Yvette Falarca and other like people in Antifa were women leaders. A lot of these are women leaders, and all the people who are calling for various assassination attempts on Donald Trump, of which there were two. Someone showed up at Nick Fuentes' house with a gun to kill him. There was a bunch of like politicians at a baseball game that were shot at, and you can find videos of women in their cars or on their beds or in their homes, like laying on the couch eating bonbons, and they're just calling for murder like some kind of French aristocrat. But they're not the ones that actually put themselves in harm's way. They just go online and say, I hope a brave man steps up and does something. And then some man at some point says, oh, I'm going to do this for Milady. And they do it. Like if we can't acknowledge the fact that there are women, I'm not even saying, like that there are women who exist that do this, and that there are men who respond to it. And that's only because the women can't do it themselves. Otherwise they would if they were weak enough, because they obviously, you can find videos and stuff of women abusing the weak when they want to, like children. And that still happens, and we still don't take it seriously. So I'm just saying that like this isn't shocking to me because I've seen it for years and years and years. And I'm sorry if it shocks Shu, because I understand how shocking that can be, but yeah, it's not new. So stochastic terrorism, yeah, that's what it is. Yes, it's like saying, well, here's so and so's house and address. Man, it'd be a shame if something happened to him. And if a woman says it, I'm scared, I feel unsafe. Then yeah, there might be a man who will go and do something about it. So
last year they realized how many people would celebrate the murder of a president, and this year they realized how many people would celebrate the murder of them. At the end of the day, this is all the inevitable conclusion of the punch a Nazi thing from like 2017. Do you guys remember that? We always knew it was a slippery slope. That's why we were against it. And they always say this.
Well, there's something older than that, though. Boys are stupid, throw rocks at them.
Mm.
Anyway, I'm going to jump ahead to more women screaming online. Did we already do this part? Let me see. Yeah, this is when she intended to go fuck with him. There we go here. Charlie Kirk, the modern cultural warfare has lefty engaged. The left is engaged in right now has done more damage to America in 4 years than the conservative boogeyman of socialism has ever done in the lifetime of our nation. Time to rethink our priorities and calculate a proportional response. We love to see growth, Charles. If capitalism is so great, why haven't they made a capitalism too?
About like Bernie Sanders, I made an egg look like his face. It is safe to say I was no fan. But this has really shaken me in a way that I absolutely did not expect. These last few days after what happened, I kept going to every single like lefty, liberal, left-wing person I know and like checking out what they have been saying about this. And besides maybe like 4 or 5, every single one was being an unhinged psychopath about this. Or saying some backhanded shit like, this is why we need gun control, which, first of all, we were just watching a whole bunch of people celebrate killing someone over political differences. You are never taking our guns now. That is not happening. I felt like I was in the middle of the ocean. I was trying to like grasp onto a flotation device, checking all of these accounts for their take, like, be normal, be normal. Nothing. Nobody. I'm just drowning in a sea of evil, apparently. Maybe I was just blind up until now. Maybe they changed. Maybe I changed. Is everyone going crazy, or am I going crazy? I don't.
Good luck.
They have
Steve.
not changed, and you probably have. But I'm telling you, you're just seeing the truth.
I don't think
remember when Shu made her video about men, the male loneliness thing, and she like got a bunch of videos from her friends on the left, and they were all like, fuck men. It's the same people, Shu. It's the same people. They haven't changed. You're just seeing them for what they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you thought that they were fellow travelers because you might have agreed on some ethical principles, and little did you know that they were basically some kind of
I mean,
demonic
her
entity deciding that those are the principles that it's going to use to manifest itself.
yeah.
I hate using the dehumanizing language, but
they're demons?
yes.
I'll just say it's evil. I mean, like everyone's calling them demons now. But I mean, it is evil behavior. But that's what I saw for a long time. And I don't want to dehumanize anyone, but that's just what I'm seeing. Like it's the reality. Like, I'm sorry, you know, we wrestle not with flesh and blood. Anyway,
All I know is it is clear how they reacted to this is how they would react to me, my family, my friends, you, your family, your friends, that have ever stepped out of line from the nebulous, ever-changing definition of progressive. These are people I thought were level-headed. They were left-wing, but, you know, like, they were one of the good ones. Like, you can joke with them, you know, they weren't those, like, woke SJWs. Like, they were cool, we can disagree and still be friends. You know.
Well,
your
oh,
friend
good.
wouldn't celebrate you being murdered, of course. But if they would celebrate an exact clone of you that wasn't you, that had all the same opinions, or some of the opinions that you have, if they would celebrate that clone being murdered, they're not your friend. I'm friends with people who are friends with Charlie, and I see how they are completely broken about this. Seeing them like this, and then at the same time my other friends posting shit like, "Rip Bozo." It's just sick. It's just sick shit. Personally,
Yes, it's sick. You know, and where do you go from here?
well, we have to where do we go from here? Do you have an idea before I say something?
Oh no, you go ahead, and maybe I'll say something after.
We have to stop bickering amongst ourselves. We have to like come together because we are dealing with murderous assholes. And I've been saying that for a long time. And there are people who will kill you, and then there are people who will make excuses for you getting killed. And we have to basically treat them and we have to outcast them. We have to alienate them. We have to like just they can't be, we can't talk to them. They don't want to. They know what they're doing is evil. They want, what is the saying? Sam Hyde had a saying. They want you dead. They want your family dead. They want your children brainwashed and raped, and they think it's funny. Like, I mean, that's what it is. And I'm sorry. It's like, I don't want to draw a line in the sand. They drew it. But I'm telling you, this has been the thing for a long time. And I'm just done playing nice with these people. I mean, even I didn't, but like, this is the reality. This is what we're looking at. And when I saw what happened to Charlie, I didn't think like, oh my God, my favorite right-wing like commentator died. Like, I didn't even watch his content. And as far as I could tell, he was probably the most mid-moderate dude ever. So if they would be willing to do that to a super moderate, reasonable guy who was willing to talk to people and was definitely against violence, what would they do to somebody like me? You know, I mean, like, I told my mother-in-law about this, and she was very worried for Lindsay and myself. Now, granted, it's a bit egotistical to think, oh, I'm just the same, but and I don't obviously think that, but the truth is that like that is a thing that we have to consider, you know. And I spoke to, when I was up in Canada, I reached out to Jennifer Daw. You guys remember Jennifer Daw? She was a game developer, big Gamergate person, knew American McGee, the guy who created the American McGee Alice series. And I said I wanted to meet up with Jennifer because we saw her at the very first meetup we went to back in 2015 or whatever it was. And Jennifer said that she didn't want to get out of bed because of the assassination. And it was because she said that an attempt on her life was made because of her views. Jennifer Daw is an ANCAP.
Mhm.
That's it. She's just a super libertarian ANCAP, and she now lives. She's like homesteading outside of the city of Calgary somewhere, like raising rabbits, and barely
Mhm.
posts online. And I mean, that's how close it is. Like Jennifer is somebody I know, and she was in danger. American McGee's sister was in danger. Like this isn't fringe shit that's out of reach, you know? So like I think that we really have to rethink how we stand with people who are not crazy and don't want us dead, even if we don't agree. And we
Mhm.
have to, in my opinion, we have to like reach out to them and be like, dude, I'm not going to kill you. Let's be friends. We'll work out our differences later. Right now, we have to deal with Cthulhu because that's what it is, right? So that's that. I mean, that's what I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was that Mr. 0303 said Brian was nearly one of the January 6th people. Yeah, I was ready to go. I was going to go to January 6th and talk to people. And Lindsay was like, don't go. I
Mm.
mean, and I didn't, but I could have been not only like imprisoned for being there for like 6 years or whatever, however long it was, 5.5, something like that. No, it was like 8 years almost because it happened in 2020 and they didn't get out until 2024, 2020.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's 2025. Anyway, so yeah, I mean that's what I think. So
Yeah. I don't know what to say. But you guys who think that being on the right side of history or advocating for some kind of utopia justifies political violence against the people who agree with you, you are, that's not the way. And I wonder if the end goal isn't the actual violence, isn't the actual power and control, isn't actually feeling other people feel fear. Right? If that isn't your end goal and your so-called virtues are just excuses. Right? This is not the way forward. You guys aren't progressive. Somehow, thinking yourselves so progressive, you became throwbacks. And I think it might be because, the same thing that happens when we don't hold women to standards and women descend to the standards we don't hold them to. When you think that your belief system puts you above human morality, then you are going backwards rapidly.
yeah.
Or it puts yourself above whatever you want to call it, karma, treating your neighbor as you wish yourself to be treated, right? Whatever you want to call it, you think that you are above the harms you do others, and you're not. No political position puts you above the harms you do others, and no abstraction from this speech or this action in the abstract it harms people. No, that doesn't excuse you going out and physically harming someone. Okay.
Yeah. All right, I got a couple super chows.
Cool.
So thank you, Zeranx, who gives us 5 and says, the government needs to find a way to revitalize the dollar. Our government has been hollowing the dollar. I equate it to a bag of beans made less substantial until there's half a bean in a bag, and we need multiple bags with half a bean in it to manage our needs. At some point, we can't manage enough carts to hold said bags to buy a load of bread. This is why I absolutely disagree with the statists, the people clamoring for higher wages. Charlie Kirk is also one of those, and agree with those saying Republicans and progressives are going the speed limit. Oh, Republicans are progressives going the speed limit. I'd say they're cruising though. Thank you, Zeranx. Yeah, I don't think it's the solution for sure.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Nobody should be using like their claims of needing safety to take away other people's freedoms. right?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, within reason, people should obey traffic laws when they're operating a motor vehicle and a forklift. But like that whole thing about, for example, COOF, where the justification was that if our freedoms created a 0.0001 increased risk of possibly fatal illness, well, sorry, that's life. And I think that's what Charlie Kirk meant, right? You can't make things safe. And the safer you make things, the less safe you are, strangely enough.
Yeah.
Like, what is that statement? Somebody who sacrifices freedom for
For
security deserves
security
neither.
deserves
Neither.
neither and gets
Well, you'll
neither.
get neither.
Yeah,
You
we'll
get
get
neither.
neither. Mhm.
Because the people who are willing to make that deal with you, you don't want to have power over you.
Yes, exactly.
Alright.
Okay, so I got another super chow. And put it up. Great Indoors gave us the little Great Indoors, who was at the meetup, by the way, gave us $5 and says, "This is in regard to the tweet reaction of Shu to that of Charlie. Being in favor of the state forcing people to pay for something that doesn't result in any productivity is using the threat of state violence as a means to an end. The entire philosophy of the left has this viewpoint as its foundation. They have top down solutions for every problem they encounter, increasing the amount of state threat to violence along the way. In my opinion, it's no wonder we end up at these societal crossroads." Um, yeah, I mean, they're already using violence when they use the state, so that's why they're okay with violence. Um, Xeranx gives us a super chat for 5 and says the interesting thing about BLM is that it was allegedly started by a black man to get black people to recognize we matter, and then it was taken over. Well, that's interesting, and I feel like I knew that. So BLM was originally started by a black man to recognize in the larger black population that black men matter and they exist. That can't be allowed. We have to rewrite that so that what do they say? That we disrupt the
patriarchy.
Like the nuclear family, and we're gonna
Mhm.
have children raised by parents and communities and villages and non-binary people and trans people, but not men. Definitely not men. But everybody else is allowed to participate in the raising of children. And I got something I want to read because Teal Deer is watching. He's commenting on Rumble. So he says, it is a religious belief in the forever revolution to free people's souls from their bodies at the end of history. They don't know that, but it is the foundation of their thought. Their morality is the spark of the divine, of the Godhead trapped in the material. You preventing them from releasing that is you putting your morality above the divine. They literally think they have a heavenly mandate while not realizing they are religious. That's part of what makes this leftist cult so dangerous. Also, black men are the white people of black people. Okay.
Mhm.
So Teal Deer is well read
Mhm.
on this. Okay, let's keep going.
I would rather live in a world full of Charlie Kirks who would sit down and debate than a world full of people who agree with me but would murder people who don't. Because if it's now normalized to just murder people who disagree with you politically, we don't have a society. Like, that's it. It's over. But some of these people...
We do if we get rid of everybody who wants to do that. And I don't mean like get rid of them. I mean like kick them out of the country or something. Put them on the ice floe, send them out, and let them have their society over there. You know?
Mhm.
In particular, like, why the fuck are you celebrating? You! They think you're a fucking Nazi too. They'll make a nice compilation of all the hot takes you've had over the years and spread it around to justify your murder.
Yep.
You don't get it, do you? We are all Charlie Kirk. I have been doing this for 11
Okay.
years. I have been harassed.
In 2018, with the Nazi, the boss show, CNN show us the Nazis in Boston. That's the video that I did. I pointed this out. This should terrify anyone because it doesn't matter what you say or what you believe. This tool, they call you a Nazi, will justify any violence against you. And I pointed out that the powers that be, the media, the government, the big corporations, they love a tool like that because they can remove anyone with it. They can silence anyone with it. And because nobody's allowed to have free speech, the person they call a Nazi can't tell you different. Right? As soon as they're labeled a Nazi, that's it for them. They're done. And this tool is now ruling our political discourse, and it's not a discourse until we remove it entirely. Until nobody, an accusation of being a Nazi is not credible. It's ridiculous, and nobody acts on it. But I don't know how to, talking about going forward, I don't know how to deprogram these people.
That's what we need. We need
Yes.
the deprogramming women.
That series.
I think, yeah, the deprogramming women series. Like, because I think that if you can do that, I bet other things will fall into
Yeah.
place.
Oh, well, it's like Mae West said, when women go bad, men go right after them. It's just, and the thing is that it is women because it's always women first. Like sometimes I think that a lot of men don't know what the hell they're doing. They just follow women.
Well, they presume that women are more, what do we tell them? Women are more emotionally intelligent. Women are more virtuous. Women are more, they're just better people. So we've conditioned at least one, if not multiple generations of men, probably going all the way back to the boomers, to defer to women for their moral compass. And women
Yes.
have led that, I think. And I think that's why. And of course, when women lose that, because there are no standards, so they just get to just be however they want, then the men will follow them.
Yes. And so why is it women first? Why is it mostly women? Because it's always mostly women.
Yeah.
It's always mostly women going into these moral chasms, like just swan diving into them. Oh, look, evil. I'm just going to run out and jump in there.
Yeah.
And it's women because men follow them.
Yeah. And well, as the word, the saying goes, men move in the shadow of women's desire. So if women say they like a certain thing, then men go right after them. Well, I don't know if this video is in here, this clip is in here, but there is a woman who says, whoever kills Charlie Kirk, like that's how you get a woman. That's how you find a woman.
Yeah.
So she was literally saying, if you kill, let me see if I can find the clip here. If you kill someone for women
in the beginning, it's like
is it?
Yeah.
It might have been the compilation. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you kill people like Charlie Kirk, that's how you get laid, basically.
Whoever their enemies are. But yeah,
whoever
in
their
this case,
enemies
Charlie
are, that's
Kirk.
how you get female approval.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you think wars started in the past?
Yeah.
Who do you think was saber rattling?
What is the
on
white feather
sideline?
campaign?
Yeah, at least. And then feminists have the audacity to say who starts wars. Well, women start wars, it seems like, from what I've been seeing. And it's men who are expended in ending them. Because honestly, what the whole war part of war is really just ending it. All of this war really starts in the beginning when you have all of these women that say, oh, if you just go out and kill a Hun, that's going to get you coochie, and all this other agitating and wanting and desiring and promoting resentments between groups of people, right? Like what you see with the terrorist organization. It's the women who do the recruiting, who maintain the resentment and the finances and the continuity. Well, that's you just writ large, and there you have a nation agitating for war because its women are saber rattling. They start the war. It's the men who end it at the cost of their lives. The greatest fiction we ever bought into was this idea that women are somehow better than men. Like I'm clinging with my freaking fingernails to the idea that women aren't profoundly worse. I know maybe this will make people laugh. Like that women aren't actually so much worse than men. Like I'm clinging to the idea that this situation that we see right now is because we've had generations of women being taught that they have nothing to take responsibility for. And they don't have to consider the emotions of anybody but themselves and their pet social projects, right? Which often just amount to having guilt tools to inflict on men. Like I'm really holding on to this idea that no, actually, the problem is that women aren't held to any kind of standard. It's not in women itself and women themselves. All right, I'm clinging to that with my fingernails. And over and over, there are women who come and start trying to batter that notion out of my hands. Like I'm just clinging to it. I'm like, okay, if we hold women to standards, they would be as good as men. They would be. I'm clinging to this. And I have women after women after woman trying to batter that out of my hands. Like what I'm clinging to, which is the notion that it wouldn't be better for women to be replaced with sex bots with wombs. Like that maybe there is a point to all of this, and there is a point at which something is revealed that makes it all make sense, and that women actually live up to something and justify the amount of shit that they get to exist. Do you get what I'm saying, Brian? Justify the fact that men have done so much to provide safety, security, and wealth and comfort to women, that there is something that women will do. So I'm waiting. Like, let's wait. Okay, there's got to be something. There's got to be. Right? I'm clinging to that. And let me tell you, my biggest enemy to clinging to the notion that women have value is women. Okay, misogynist rant over.
All right. I got a comment from Teal Deer I want to read again. Thank you, Teal Deer, for your input. Women replace God as the spiritual center of the home to forgive men of their sin gathered outside the home. Another feminist spiritualist moral. It all goes back there every time. And then he says, every genocide in history is just a logical endpoint of women catfighting each other. Thank you. Yes. Okay.
It does feel like that, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It's
I mean,
Helen of Troy, right?
What we're seeing on in social media sort of confirms that my suspicion.
Uh-huh.
Like every political thing that we're dealing with can be it's reduced down to two groups of women arguing over some shit, including votes for women.
Yep.
Okay.
And whatever, you name it, for 11 years by the left. And it hasn't moved me an inch because that's not how politics works. That's lunch table politics. I've talked about this before. People on your side being mean to you doesn't mean you overnight change your opinions on, like, healthcare. It doesn't work that way. I still have all my economic left opinions. I'm for strong social safety nets, workers' rights, unions, wealth caps, whatever. That has not changed. This is not me leaving the left because, frankly, I don't even know how to do that. This is me and many, many people looking around us at our so-called allies and realizing that even though we might share some, like, political opinions, we fundamentally do not have the same values or morals. And are we really allies if we agree on, like, taxes, but don't agree on the sanctity of human life?
Okay. I'm just gonna move ahead a little bit. So still economic left. So that's fine. Your business. So I think that
I'm not economic left, but I'm willing to have an economic discussion with a dirty Keynesian.
Keynesian?
Sorry.
What's that?
No.
Is there
I mispronounced it. I mispronounced it.
Canuckson? What, like another Canadian?
No. I mispronounced the word. I'm sorry.
What's the word?
Caucasian.
Kensian?
Kensian. A dirty
Oh, okay.
Kensian.
A
Okay,
Kensian.
there we
I
go.
see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Information was eventually conveyed.
Okay, I got it. All right. Anyway,
Kensian, yeah.
I don't know. The
Kensian.
way we view death now is just crazy. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the desensitization, in part thanks to the internet. You used
I don't know about that, but she like explains that if people can look at gore online and so they become desensitized and they don't think it's happening. I think it's more maybe that Charlie Kirk has been, and a lot of people on the right and MRAs have been sufficiently dehumanized. Remember, we used to talk about, or Allison made a video about dehumanizing language. Men in particular have been dehumanized for a long time. So when men die, like people, especially people who are kind of let's say, what's the word I'm looking for? Sheltered from this stuff, they don't have a normal reaction. Like, how many people, when Warren Farrell was going to that, he went to Toronto to talk, and there were all those protesters outside, like fucking Scum Girl, back in, when was that, 2012 or something? And they probably, if he would have died, they would have celebrated it. So I don't think if he would have died on camera, they probably would have celebrated. I don't think that this is a new thing. I don't. I mean, I'm fine. Like I'm open to being proven wrong about that, but I don't think. I think it's because especially these women that are making these videos online, like their whole life is organized around the sort of like cultural stories. That's why they're always referencing, Harry Potter and The Handmaid's Tale, because they don't live in reality. They live in like TV world. Like they watch TV and they watch movies and they see people dying in film and television, and like they get this mindset that like people in the real world that they dislike are just like the villains on TV. So when they die, they're just like, oh, I didn't like that guy. I didn't like that character. And I think that's what it is. I don't think it's like, because I mean, I have watched gore content online, and when I saw Charlie Kirk get shot, I was shocked. When I saw that girl get stabbed on the train, I've seen people die, in real life on videos, and it doesn't. I'm not desensitized to it because I know that's a real person, that has like family and friends. It's not like a character in a movie. So,
Okay.
sorry.
have to go
No, I'm not. That's not you. I'm just
and stuff like that. And now
What?
just it's like cats didn't get a really good night's sleep because
Okay.
cats hate sleep.
Only for you. They don't want you to get sleep.
Yeah, they're fine with their own sleep, and they prefer, if you disturb their sleep, they savage you. But they're
Yeah.
fine, absolutely ruining your sleep. Okay.
Yeah.
and you see someone set on fire, if someone gets stabbed on a train. And when someone like Charlie dies, it's not even real to people anymore. Like it's like a movie or show. Oh, that character died, people around you. You can't say to these people who are celebrating this and justifying this, you can't say, what if that was your dad or your brother getting killed for their opinions, because they've already cut those people off. They've already cut those people off out of their lives. And posting videos and pictures of Charlie's wife and young kids will not move these people at all. Because they hate their lives. They hate their families. They are atomized bug people. They are the unfortunate product of modern society. And I feel bad for them. I do. I pity them and I wish I could help them. But I have bugman fatigue. And for the in a blind rage with a list of all of Charlie Kirk's like biggest hits to convince me that I should hate him and should not mourn him. If you thought what Charlie Kirk said is wrong, you could have debated him. He was one of the few people left willing to do that, and now he's gone. Charlie was a fan of free speech, but I'm worried whoever comes after Charlie won't be. Like, even from a political standpoint, not even...
Oh no, my backlash. They murdered a guy. The next guy might be like less like for free speech. I don't think so, but okay. the backlash.
No, I think I understand what she's saying.
What?
Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm reading into it, but here's the thing. All right. We have a society in which people can engage in these kinds of discussions, or we did. And because of that, that is where prosperity and advancement comes from. It comes from freedom of speech. And it comes from a society that enables that kind of cooperative communication of ideas. And and that enables more political solutions, like it creates a larger pool of solutions politically. And I can go into more historically about that, but when one side, I'll use the word side, starts the process of destroying this kind of civil conversation. So the left basically brings a club, like a bludgeon, to the discourse. Eventually the right is going to have to abandon civil discourse, because you can't have it when you're being beaten to death with a club. You have to pick up a club and fight back. And through no fault of the people responding to the club, civil discourse dies. Now, I don't know if that's what she's saying.
It might be.
It might be. But honestly, you can't sit there and say, well, that's that, I don't understand why the right picked up a club. Yeah, you understand. Because they don't want to end up being killed. They don't want to end up being rolled into a mass grave. They don't want to end up being, murdered in ovens. They don't want to end up being put in concentration camps. Right? So they have to pick up a club and respond in kind. But that moment, all discourse dies.
Yeah.
Right? And that is the end. Like, that is the pinnacle of our civilization. And everything after, downhill. And there's, like I said, you can't say, oh, well, I don't understand why the right did that. Of course you understand. So this dance requires both sides to be willing to engage in it. And when one side decides that they're no longer willing to engage in it, and they're willing to embrace violence as a tool, as a political tool, it's over. That's the end. So when I say we need to deprogram these people, I'm not kidding. Like, if we don't, if this is where we want our society to crest, then we can continue to respond in kind. Well, we aren't even starting to respond in kind, but eventually it will happen. Eventually it will happen. It has to happen, right? And I would even argue that maybe widespread killing hasn't happened, but the censorship, the getting people fired, that is lowering the tenor of discourse and trying to erase it from civil society, which means that when you stop being able to talk freely, when you stop being able to exchange ideas freely, that's the top. Everything after is down. And if we don't want that, then somehow we have to deprogram these people. Like you said, deprogram women, because they sort of are coming from them.
Well, it's the same. I think it's the same. It's the same DNA. So yeah, deprogramming women is probably like more relevant than ever, in my opinion. In terms of like, I don't know, seeing like change. I mean, in my day-to-day life, I don't see any issues, but I'm in a different kind of community. But I think that, like, it's something that we're gonna have to confront for other people's benefit, I suppose.
Well, I mean, I agree. Like, I don't see many issues in my community either. Not, I mean, I see people who sort of reflect some of the issues. So I've heard, like, women talk about their dating in a very callous and cruel way here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard like there is an extreme radical MGTOW in my town now, which is pretty surprising since it's a small town. You know, Jonathan actually had a conversation with him, and I'm like, so the stuff is here, but for the most part, people are just getting on with getting on. And I think part of it is because the town still sort of has an identity of who built it. So we know the families that were part of building it and all that. So there's like more of an identity here. But yeah, but it's not just about like general chaos everywhere. It's about
Mm-hmm.
striving for something more. Like, are we striving for something more anymore? That is part of the pinnacle thing, right? We stop striving. We stop dreaming. And this is what they're destroying. I mean, they're destroying lives, they're destroying livelihoods. They're also destroying dreaming and creativity and striving and human expression. It's why everything they produce is absolute trash. I mean, it used to be that more liberal-minded people could create beautiful works of art, but suddenly it's like it's all awful.
I can show you something.
Okay, go ahead.
To that point. Let me find it. Hold on a second. So this was something that someone worked on. This is it looks like a rock and they painted it. I'm not really sure if it's supposed to be something else, but they painted it and they drew like Charlie Kirk on the side, and it says, if you believe in something, you need to have the courage to fight for those ideas, not run away from them or try to silence them. Charlie Kirk, 1993 to 2025. And then activists came along and they just graffitiized it and just put BLM on it for some reason. And I have a video of the person who did it. And I thought that was interesting because it was like showing, yeah, here we go, University of North Carolina, Wilmington. There's the wait, it's not on my page. Where's my page at? I should go back to here where they showed the person defacing it. I have a video of it. Yeah, here it is. So yeah, they're killing creativity too on purpose. And it is the goal is uglification of everything, and the purpose of that is to demoralize. And that's another reason why they aggress too against people, because when these protests happen, what does Antifa do? What do the protesters do? What does BLM do? They show up with their umbrellas or whatever, and they try to get people to hit them. They try to get they antagonize violence. They're trying to get violence. And usually they don't, but they do everything. Remember when they poured urine on Lauren Southern's head? This was like a long time ago. Or when they kicked the shit out of Andy Ngo and gave him, I think it's some brain damage. A little bit of brain damage. He had to go to the hospital. I mean, I can go on. And but yeah, they want things to escalate because they want to be victims of that. Because then they can justify, using the state to kill their enemies. So because they think their enemies are the devil. So it's the only solution. Anyway.
I just let the cat back in.
Okay.
Cat's back the very next day. Yes, the cat came back. Thought it was a gunner, but the cat came back. West couldn't stay away. This is like classic Canadian.
I remember that song. Okay, got a super chow, another one. Thank you from the one good man who gives us. Let me see how we're doing on the live stream. We got like over 100 people watching. So, $5. Many women also seem more shocked that a hot blonde did a jeans advert than that a hot blonde was horrifically murdered on a train. They also seem shocked by the reaction. Well, the woman who was murdered on the train wasn't competition for these women. Sydney Sweeney was. That's why.
Well,
Nova fan. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like that is a good point.
Yeah.
It's but again, like I just went through with Grok, finding out that there is an intervention that could substantially reduce the rate at which women experience domestic violence, and feminists are no doubt impeding it because they want to promote their ideology.
Yep, it's
Like
good for
that,
business.
yeah, they don't give a crap about women. Like it is just that's just what they chose because we give a crap about women. And then they tell us, "Oh, you guys don't give a crap about women." And if you gave a crap about women, which you don't, you'd give us money and do what we say. And if like idiots, we agree to that. Like idiots. Because the funny thing is again that these women these feminists don't care about women. All they care about is using women to get money and control people. And they're using the fact that the people they say don't care about women do care about women to get that money and control. Astounding, isn't it? It's disgusting, actually. All right, continue. Sorry.
Okay. Nova Fan 21 gave us a Rumble rant for $1 and says the lefties who are upset at Jimmy Kimmel getting quote unquote canceled have no room to talk about free speech. They demanded we get fired from our jobs when accused of racism and transphobia. Don't forget also for going to school or work when you weren't supposed to. Yeah, or what?
Or being accused of misogyny or having the wrong
Yeah,
opinion
or
about
going
sexual
to a
violence.
convention with the wrong opinions, right?
Yeah, or in Johnny Depp's case, being the victim of abuse.
Yep.
Like, on an allegation by a woman. They also supported that. Like,
You know that? Did you know that?
I'm pretty sure that more men have been canceled over allegations from women than anything to do with transphobia. Okay, but go
You know
ahead.
that the wokies are also calling to boycott Disney because like Jimmy Kimmel's show is on ABC and ABC is owned by Disney. So they're calling for boycotts. Even the woman who played She-Hulk is like, I suggest you all stop subscribing to Disney Plus. And I'm like, I thought you caused us to stop subscribing to Disney Plus, if anything. No, but so yeah, I guess I like Disney now. Or like the people who work there.
Yeah. Well,
so,
or
yeah.
alternatively, you don't subscribe to Disney Plus because it's
It's
there
trash.
still isn't a show that's worth watching.
No, it's all trash. Yeah,
trash.
I never had an account, never. So, but it's just really funny that the Disney has fired Jimmy Kimmel and now they're losing their people too, and so I don't know what's going to be left of it. It's going to be a crater. But anyway, back to
Maybe
the
they'll
shoot thing.
try writing good stories.
They could try doing that.
A
Yes.
renaissance. A renaissance. Here, I'll thump you. Here. There you go. Thump, 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 thump.
All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
Why are you celebrating like the most popular college Gen Z political pundit dying? Like, why are you celebrating him becoming a martyr? Say goodbye to that young male vote. All the liberal Joe Rogans in the world are not fixing this. I just hope for the sake of this country that political violence does not become normalized, does not become a thing. I really don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see retaliation. I don't want to see us fall into a civil war. I don't know. This has all been extremely blackpilling. I think I'm gonna take a break from politics. I don't know. I'm a YouTuber. Like, I'm not a political pundit, right? I'm not. My goal here, my purpose here is to entertain, is to make people laugh. That is what I'm going to do. That is what I will continue to do. The news cycle will move on. The world will move on. Charlie Kirk's kids won't move on. His daughter won't move on. His daughter does not have a dad anymore. And that fucking sucks. That sucks. I don't know what else to say. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to my crash out. If you're new here, my videos usually are not like this. They're actually nothing like this.
All right, I'll pause it there. Again, credit where credit is due. She acknowledges that ultimately that family lost its father. And that's like just true. Of course, they felt like it was okay because fuck dads. Am I right? And And I think that's another big part of it. And they were saying that if you look at the clips of women, mostly women celebrating it, they were just like, fuck dads. Fuck
Fuck
that
dad.
kind of dad, especially. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay. Honestly, I don't know how, even if he does have his own an opinion on transgenderism, I don't know how you can exclude that, considering we don't really understand it. If it what the precise phenomenon is, and how
yeah,
to properly
well,
diagnose it.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway. Okay. Yeah, she obviously is not quite upset by this.
Yeah.
Well, credit to her. Although, I mean, honestly, how can you? What do these people expect? If they think that anybody who doesn't agree with them, my phone is ringing. Somebody's trying to call
Oh,
me.
you froze. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
that's
because of
why.
your phone?
Yeah, it's
It looks
because of
like
my
you're
phone.
just floating. The cat is floating in your hand. There's something magical going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you're back. You're back.
My arms look gigantic because they're close to the lens.
House is
But
taking us to the gun show, guys.
not that I have really great guns. I just what was I saying? Okay, so many things happened at once. My ADHD kicked in, and now I've squirreled, and I don't know where I am. It's a credit to her that she's starting to question all this. I don't know how you can continue to be friends with somebody who would celebrate your murder if they didn't know you.
Yeah. Have you seen some of the unhinged things that, like, I'm not going to put it up on the screen or anything, but because we're going to wrap it up, I think it's been 2 hours just about. But like some of the mainstream moderate types, like Destiny, have been saying, oh, man. I mean, it's, well, like I said, I'm just glad that I don't know those people personally. I have like, you know, people that I know in real life that are, but I have lost a lot of friends over the past 10 years. And I feel very dehumanized by them, which is really painful, but I mean, I already went through that. I went through that years ago, sadly. So,
Okay. I just tithed to the void, so hopefully I'll have a few moments of peace. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I don't think I never really had friends, so I never went through
Yeah,
that.
I figured as much. Yeah, mainstream. Yeah, Destiny is supposedly moderate. He calls himself the moderate liberal for sure, and a lot of people consider that. I'm telling you though that those distinctions don't matter anymore. So
No, I mean, really, the only distinction is this: are you a person who wants to use words as a means to identify enemies and subjugate them, or are you somebody who uses words to convey concepts? I think this is how language broke into so many pieces, is that people no longer wanted to understand each other. And I guess we're there again. We're at the Tower of Babel again, guys. And yes, I guess I should continue my series, Deprogramming Women, so that we can do something that I can present a possible explanation. It's essentially what happened is the guy who I was working with it, Eduardo, I don't know what happened to him. And
Eduardo, the guy who used to make the cartoons.
Yeah, the cartoons. And so I had the higher production values, but now I'm working
Well,
with the new
you might be able to
animator.
get Luke to help you out, but he's not going to be cheap.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You can get Luke to help you out. He's a really good animator. I'm going to be talking to him on Monday.
Yeah, okay,
But,
good.
yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, and the other thing is I have this project that I'm working on called Why Sally Rejects Stu, which is sort of connected to the Deprogramming Women project, but it's more about dating and greater implications, the problems in dating and their greater implications for our society. So That's what I guess I could call that part of deprogramming women. It's just, I don't know. I really, it stumps me, guys, because the only thing I can think of is that we need to have a new understanding of the relationship between men and women. And I don't know if that really comes from a lot of women. If I look throughout history, it tends to just come from a certain subset of women who hold very close to a new set of values, basically. Like, to use the example, the Sabine women who ended the war between the Sabine men and the Roman men, and thus founding Rome, were probably like 13 women, but they were very dedicated to the values that they espoused. So maybe what we need is just a very small kernel of women who are willing to take responsibility, don't shirk from blame, and are willing to actually negotiate something reasonable with men, right? And willing to stop this insanity. Maybe it just takes a small kernel of women willing to do that, and then we can build from there. Maybe there's a way that you can scale women like that. Maybe, or we just do sex bots with artificial wombs. Why not?
Yeah.
All right.
So real quick on the Jimmy Kimmel thing, because some people are saying that, this is censorship and the FCC, it was like, we're pressured by the White House to take the show down. That's not true. I think that his show sucked. Nobody watched it. And you can see that. Tim Pool gave us some stats, some that shows that the Tonight Show, is it? Tonight Show starring Jimmy Kimmel only got average 129,000 viewers. 100 and what? I think there are internet memes that get more views than that. I think that there are cat videos that get way more views than that. I don't know if we are. Maybe we're catching up to the Tonight Show, but that's what it is. The show sucked. Nobody watched it. And the FCC was like, oh, we can use what's happening right now with the criticism and stuff as an opportunity, because Jimmy Kimmel lied about Charlie Kirk when he did his bid on him. He lied about the shooter. And so they were like, we're going to use this to cancel the show, or at least put him on hiatus. They didn't even cancel the show. They suspended him. So he's not even fired. So I'm telling you guys, don't let them play victim on this, because that's not true. And I knew that when I heard this. I was like, I think it's because the show sucked and nobody watched it. Bring back Craig Ferguson and you guys will be fine. He'll hit on all of the guests. He's got a great Scottish accent and he's a lot funnier than most of these guys. But that's just what I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he's lying about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, he lied about Charlie Kirk and his killer.
I mean, because it's one thing to make a off-color black humor joke.
Mm-hmm.
Not that none of what we saw was that. Just to deal with the misery of it. You know what I mean? And then celebrating or lying about the person or lying about the situation. Like this is now there is free speech, but you can't slander people. And you can't incite violence. I mean, I know you're a free speech absolutist, I believe. Are you still a free speech absolutist? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't agree with Jimmy Kimmel being fired?
No, that's not. But no,
that's not.
The thing is, that's him getting fired for having a shitty show. Like, if you don't do your job well, you get fired. That's not. Even if your job is talking, that's not like censorship. That's you sucking. Yes. That's why I said the show should continue. Get somebody that's good to be on it and make the content good, and maybe not just like TDS, like 24 hours a day. That's why I say get Craig Ferguson. He's funny, and I think he can like keep it light.
Well, okay.
Or somebody that's just really good at interviewing.
Do you believe that the people who are celebrating this should get fired?
Celebrating, Well, again, I think of censorship or the First Amendment as more of a government thing, not a company thing. I would say no.
I would say no. Yes, I say no.
Yeah, I don't. Well, look, I don't think so either. But I mean, I can't tell them not to do it.
The problem is this: they're the ones who now set the tenor of engagement.
Yes, that's what that is exactly.
And
I
I
said this
can
to
say,
Mike
no, I don't think
yesterday.
that's a good idea, but you guys
I
are
don't think
setting
it's a
the
good
tenor
idea.
of engagement.
Yeah.
Their
You should hold
they're-
them to their standards because they only do this to us because they know that we have standards. And
Well,
so they're
it's
like,
just
oh
basically
yeah,
what I
this
was
is your
talking about.
principle. So I'm going to hold you to your principle, but they don't have principles.
Basically what I'm talking about. The left has brought a club to, or a bludgeon to political discourse. Eventually they're going to force their opponent to meet them on the same level. And unfortunately that process is starting. So I don't agree with it, but also it's karmic and I can't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the level of political discourse you've asked for, and you are going to get it. I've asked leftists or people who espouse this stuff, who seem to use it to enact their political aims. I'm like, okay, so there is no compromise except that people agree with you. So eventually this will come down to violence. Is that what you want? And of course they hem and haw and they don't answer this question. But ultimately, I think that the real differences are people who are willing to uphold the virtues of an advanced civilization, which include freedom of speech and autonomy and all of these other things, and those who seem to be unable to handle it. Those who came to this world, modernity, right, in a civil society, and they still see the world in terms of violence and force, and they just can't handle it. They can't handle being civilized. So they have to burn everything and bludgeon everything and destroy everything that makes them feel uncertain, that they aren't in control. And then really it comes down to that, right? Anyway, that's why I say they don't have any virtues or principles except a desire to control others. And that's behavior. Like you can see it in their behavior. And you don't even have to appeal to identities. Just that's their behavior. That is the behavior that they're engaging in. And unfortunately, they are going to force the discourse to their level. They're going to force it to their level because you cannot respond to a bludgeon to the head with, that was a fallacy. Like that was begging the argument. That was an unsupported argument that you just gave. Like how you can't. All you can eventually do is respond in kind, and conservatives are now responding in kind. Okay, well, when you're done, when the left is done setting the level of discourse and the conservatives have to respond to it, when we all play this out, can we get back to having discussions? Can we get back to striving? Can we get back to human expression and creativity? When we've had it out, can we get back to that? But that's going to mean that the left has to lose its certainty that they're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, and I was wrong. That's all it takes.
All I don't know, and I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so no more super chats, although we did get a few. Thank you for that. And super chows, and rumble rants. So should we a reality check says I can understand to fire a healthcare worker who was celebrating Charlie's death. Yeah, that doesn't look like it's good for business. that whole oath, do no harm, that looks like it's being called into question. So again, yeah, I mean, I don't want that, but we're going to live by their standards for a little bit and see how they like it. So, okay. Anyway,
and then maybe there'll be some smartening up and being like, oh wait, actually, freedom of speech is a good thing, and it's not just government freedom of speech. It's also maybe the employers shouldn't fire you for having opinions that don't relate to your work, your ability to do the work that you do, stuff like that. You know. Although that teacher that forced kids to watch Charlie Kirk's death, that person should be in jail.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So I think we've covered this sufficiently.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yep. I think we've put in a a shift of work with these issues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to? We'll call it an evening.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Last thing I'll say. So, what does Gamergate have to do with this? Well, I'm glad you asked. Apparently, there is a Steam community, just like the Cabrutus DE. What was it called? Sweet Baby Ink detected, and then DEI detected. Now there is a Charlie's Tweets detected. So the gamers are rising up again. But anyway, I thought it was funny. I'm gonna join it. And I suggest if you guys are on Steam, you should do the same.
I'm going to say this. Firing people for celebrating a murder seems a lot more justified than the firings that the other side has been engaging in. I'll say that.
For 10-year-old tweets or voting the wrong way or not masking.
Yeah. 100%.
Not getting a jab.
Or black metal lyrics being black metal lyrics. Like, like that has been, watching that has been astounding. And the fact is that it's far more justified to fire these people for their opinion, for their absolutely repulsive behavior towards the death of a man who did nothing to them, than all of the other shit that I've seen. So yes, it is sort of meeting them at their level, but it also seems a little more justified at the same time. Okay. All right. I actually got some message, like Janice Fiamengo wanted to join us.
Oh yeah, we never did hear from her.
She has some family health issues that she's dealing with. Not
right.
Yeah. Just like Karen. But she said, I sent her the pictures and she had a little message, so I thought I would read it out. The pictures look great. Thank you for these. I'm sure I couldn't attend remotely. My admiration for the honey badgers is deep. I don't know how you manage to address current issues with such insight and knowledge. You and Brian and Hannah are truly remarkable. Aw. I just thought I would read that. Yeah, thank you, Janice. That's very sweet of you. And I really appreciate those words. I thought we could all use a pick me up after.
I am encouraged anyways.
Yes.
I know, despite all these tragedies, I think that it's like it's red pilling a lot of people.
Yes.
That much for sure. So
yes.
Sorry, but remember when I said, there must be more suffering before people wake up. I think that we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. For some, we're not there yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Janice did a lot to help support the convention as well.
Yeah, Janice is awesome.
Yep. Go watch.
Love Janice. I'd bring her on every day if I could.
Yes.
Yeah. Studio Brûlée, I think it is.
Yeah. All right. So okay. feedthebadger.com/justthetip if you want to send us a message at any time after the show is over. Francus Maximus, gay is the new MRA. There are a lot of gay and bisexual MRAs, actually. People don't know that. Random factoid. But anyway, feedthebadger.com/justthetip if you want to send us a message. feedthebadger.com/support if you want to support the show. I'll just check really quick to see if anybody has put some support in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There is some there's remember when we did Byron E. Claire like weeks and weeks ago? Still waiting on that. You know who you are. Anyway, feedthebadger.com/support for that. And back to you, Brian. I think we've done
all right. Yep. Okay, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. And please, please, please share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of Maintaining Frame. And we will talk to you guys in the next one.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.